As humans, we have this particularly bad habit of trying to control everything. And in this way of controlling things, we generally accumulate some kind of cost to this perception of control. Generally, this is blocking out of all other realities that don't seem to be the one that we're thinking of at the moment. Um, there is a style of philosophy that's all about flow and going with the grain of things, going with the flow of the tide, if you will. For example, when we were sailors and we used the wind as our power source, and the way to navigate the sea was generally with the currents of the sea and with the breeze and with the flow of the universe, essentially, or the flow of nature. This way, we were able to travel the seven seas. However, now we have this thinking of, well, I want to get there faster and to the timeline that I have. And in doing so, we create these like powerful motors, right? Really great. We get there a lot faster. We can control the sea by imparting our will on what should happen. But ultimately, there's a cost to this, right? Pollution. We're giving out lots of gas fumes. And although we have air in abundance, it doesn't mean there's not an impact to the pollution that we're putting out. And therefore, we're sacrificing a very um, natural and needed thing, right? So we need trees to live. If we keep polluting the air and cutting down trees, we're kind of burning the candle at both ends. So the idea, I think what we need to learn is to work in balance with things, stop going against everything so much. A bad habit is only caused to correct um, something that's not in balance. It is your brain's way or your body's way of saying, hey, if we're going to keep doing this, then we're going to figure out a strategy that we can keep doing it. But there's a cost to this. This is the idea of deciding not to stretch and maintain your muscles. Well, you can do that. And for as far as you're seeing things at the time, you don't see that there's a cost to this continually movement, continue working, continually exercising. However, the cost is resistance to movement, which is tightness. And you might not pay the price now, but when you're 50, 60, 70, you better believe when you weren't stretching when you're 20, it's starting to show in those ages. And in that way, that is the cost. And you now need to kind of pay for that cost in a way to make sure you're now putting the right emphasis on what needs to happen now for the stage of life you're at. And we're not particularly great at this because we don't see how it all changed or how it all got there. And because we're not conscious of the process of how it got there, the way we try to solve it or control the solution generally ends us generally ends up pushing us in the same way that we don't particularly want to go. And hopefully, before it becomes too bad, we realize that we're getting in our own way and then seek help from somebody to help restore things. So, this is just a bad habit we have. It's important to know your bad habits so you can correct them. So, I'm just pointing this out to you guys and myself as well. And I'll be keeping this a lot more in mind moving forward with our talks and with our strategies.